Good morning, everyone. Actually, kind of late morning at this time. Yeah, it's Monday. I usually get these posted a little bit later on Mondays because, well, I need some time to refresh and kind of look into the scriptures that are coming up for the coming week. And wow, there's some really good ones this week, really fun ones to look at. And one of them is the Psalm that I'd like us to take a gander at. It's Psalm 123. Very, very short psalm. Now, before we get into it, it's part of a grouping of psalms. We've already had a couple of them before. They're called the Psalms of Ascents, meaning, well, we don't know exactly what it means, okay? There are those who think they were taking a cue from we're going up to Jerusalem to go up to the temple and worship. So they would have been sung or recited in unison or a back and forth type of a deal, something like we do in our church on Sunday mornings at the second service. But you would recite these psalms during especially the three big pilgrimage times: Passover, the Feast of Booths, and the Feast of Weeks, okay, during those times. But there's also some mention in the Mishnah, which is the writings, the rabbinic writings of the Jewish people, that it seemed to indicate that it may have been spoken by the women as they went up from the court of the women, because the women were segregated from the men, okay? So going from the court of the women up into the general court of Israel within the temple complex. And just as there are 15 Psalms of Ascents, there's 15 steps leading up. So maybe they spoke these psalms on their way up. Okay, be that as it may, let's take a look at it. These psalms, for the most part, Psalms of Ascent, and in particular this one, very likely they were written during the time of the exile of the people in Babylon, because for some of them there's a very mournful tune to them in a sense. Things just aren't right. But they could have been written just after the exile, after the people had been allowed to return to Israel. But they look around and, man, it is one big mess. And there's a lot of work that needs done to get this temple cleaned up again and back into operation. So here's the Psalm, Psalm 123. To you I lift up my eyes, O you who are enthroned in the heavens. As the eyes of servants look to the hand of their master, as the eyes of a maid to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God, until he has mercy on us. Have mercy upon us, O Lord. Have mercy upon us, for we have had more than enough of contempt. Our soul has had more than its fill of the scorn of those who are at ease, of the contempt of the proud. So this is a plea for help. It is a call for God to have mercy. And it's not so much have mercy by getting even with our enemies, but rather, man, I just feel so beat up on the inside. I just don't know what to do next. I'm at my wit's end. I am in torment. God, please, just lift me up again. And it's a psalm I think we all in our nation could be shouting out and singing together right now, with everything that we've gone through the last couple of months, especially with the pandemic, with the contentious election cycle we've been through. Man, don't you just feel kind of beat up? Well, the people are feeling beat up, but in this case, especially by those who sat in seats of power, those who had wealth and had privilege and were looking down upon them. And this would fit the description of the people of Israel being in captivity. And wow, just totally worn out in spirit. Oh God, have mercy upon us. And it just kind of ends there. Very short psalm, only 4 verses long, but you see the movement there from I'm looking up my eyes toward you, and I see you, God, and I'm waiting expectantly for you to fill me. It's quite different from Psalm 23, right? My cup overflows with blessings, right? You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Well, in this case, our cup, our souls are overflowing with no other word to put it. We're just plain worn out. This is a psalm for all times, for whenever you feel at the end of your rope, at your wit's end, you can look up and say, please, God, refresh me, renew me, fill me once again with your love, your grace, and your mercy. This is one awesome fall day. I mean, it actually feels hot out here in this sun coming down at this pretty sideways angle. It's not even noon yet. So enjoy yourself. Go out and find your sweet cup of refreshment out in the nature today. It is just grand. It is glorious. I'm not going to shine this toward or point this toward the sun because it will blind you as it's blinding me in my one eye right now. But I'll be okay. I'll be okay. God's blessings be with you. Enjoy this wonderful day.